So, a local rest home was putting on a car show for their residents. They invited the local car people to bring their vehicles and come hang out and have a barbecue lunch, which was really nice. Free for the driver and one passenger if you wanted to come and bring your car. And so, there were a lot of really interesting cars that showed up, some stuff that I haven't seen around town yet. Beautiful part of town, very nice new center here with a big parking lot. It was perfect to have this side of the building set apart for the show. It was cool to see some cars that I haven't seen around town yet, and there are a couple here that we'll look at that I really liked. This was a very nice GT350 replica, and you can see the stripes aren't correct and some things like that. But other than that, it was a very, very nice car, very clean too. Looked like it's been restored recently. And one of the local Mustang guys who's restored a bunch of these older Mustangs told me that the owner of this car had put some good work into it and that he himself worked on it as well. It's a four-speed car and a really nice looking car. I really thought this was fun. I mean, it had the correct gas cap and the GT350 badge and a lot of stuff on it, although there was no Shelby tag, so I knew it was a replica, but still, very nice car. Now, this Hemi convertible Cuda was also a replica, but has the shaker hood and everything here, and a 426 Hemi that was out of a 60s car. But this had a really cool story. Here is the car, how it was found. It was a convertible 383 car, and I thought this was a really cool story. There's so many cars out there with cool stories, and the story about this car was the owner who has it now really liked Mopars. His roommate in college had a brand new 68 Charger 440 six-pack, and the roommate's father owned a Dodge dealership, and that's how the owner of this car got into the Mopars. He really liked his roommate's Charger. And so over time, he started buying these old Mopars and parting them out because he was able to make a lot of money off of them. And he ended up creating a website to sell old Mopar parts and part out cars. And so word got around that he would buy these cars and that he was looking for them and he was selling parts for them. And one day, a guy called looking for parts for a Duster. And he got talking with a guy, and the guy said, you buy cars as well? Is that true? And he said, yes. And he said, I'm actually looking for a Cuda convertible if you know of any. And the guy with the Duster said, oh, there is a guy here in town who has one. He's keeping it in his mother's garage, and it's been there for a long time. And so he wrote down the guy's phone number and name and everything, and he was going to check back on that later. But then he lost the post-it note, and he lost contact with the guy, but he kept thinking about this convertible being up there in that town nearby. The guy decided that he knew the car was in a little town in Idaho, and he thought it would be best if he went to go search for this car. And he just put $1,000 in his pocket, and he went up to the town, and his tactic was to go to a local auto parts store and ask the locals there who worked there if they knew about the people in town who have certain cars, or in this case, if they knew who owned the Cuda. And he went all the way up to that little town and found out that there was no auto parts store. So he found, I think it was a Yamaha dealership, and he went in and started talking to them. They said they didn't recognize a car like that around town, although one guy did say, I know so-and-so had a car like that, and he's been keeping it in his mother's garage. And so, bingo, he knew that was the guy he's looking for. And the guy even left work with him, and they drove around town looking for the guy in his vehicle, at the guy who was working at the Yamaha dealership. And they went to the mother's house, and there was the guy outside doing yard work, and they found him. And so they got to talking, and this guy asked, do you have a Cuda convertible? And he said, yeah. And he said, would you be willing to sell it? And the guy said, well, I've been offered $10,000 for it, and I turned it down. And so this guy said, well, would you take $10,000 again for it if given another chance? And he said, yeah, I think that would be all right. And so he said, it's in the garage right over there. So they went over and it was completely covered in everything. It's been there for a long time. So they uncovered the car and he found out it was a 383 car and it was really clean, like no rust, no problems. And he said, if I give you $1,000 now and I come back in a week, can I come pick up the car? And the guy agreed to it. So the guy traveled home and he started to worry that if word got out that this car was being purchased, that maybe somebody would sweep in and try to buy it for a little bit more and take it before he had a chance to go get it. So he called the guy and said, hey, I'm available in the next, couple days. Can I just come get the car now? And they agreed to it. So these are the really cool pictures of him going to pick up the car. And although the car looks white, its original color was actually FC7 in violet, or the same as what Dodge called plum crazy. So you can see the underside of the car when they were restoring it and sandblasting it, that it still had some of that plum crazy or in violet color. See, they took it down all the way to metal, and the metal work was beautiful on the car. And you can pause and look at these pictures if you'd like, and there's just a whole book to go through, and I thought this was really cool. And so, although it's a replica, it's really neat that somebody has a Hemi Cuda convertible around here, because that's a car you're just going to have to make a replica of yourself. These cars sell for millions of dollars at auction, and so you're never really going to see one out in public unless you're at some kind of a Carlisle car show or Barrett-Jackson maybe or something like that. But this is really cool to see, and he enjoyed restoring it. He did it over several years, and he showed me a really cool picture of him with his sons that all have Cudas as well. Well, 2 out of 3 have Cudas. There was a yellow one, an orange one, and this one all together in the picture. And his other son has a Challenger that he's working on. So really, really cool. So here's the tag here, and you can see FC7 on the left there, second to bottom. And it's that in violet color originally, so that's really cool to see that. So very beautiful car, really cool story. I enjoyed talking with him, and his wife had tons of details as well. And so it was a great experience. And every car has a story, and you'll walk past cars without knowing anything about them, but it's kind of cool when you get to talk to somebody who has a really neat story about their car. So these were just all the cars here at the show, and there's my Blue Mach 1 there. And I just wanted to go through and just kind of show what showed up to the car show today, and there are a lot of people there, so that was kind of cool. A nice Camaro there, and another ZL1 Camaro, and T-Bird, and a bunch of neat cars here. So anyway, I just thought that was really fun. I'll go to a lot of these shows and it's the same cars, and you've talked to the same people enough that it's nice when some new stuff shows up, like that GT350 replica right there and that Hemi Cuda replica. So anyway, funny story, this blue 66 Mustang GT right there, there's another one in town that's a 65, almost the same color, and it's laid out almost the same with the same wheels. And I thought that the guy who had that car had sold it, because I saw the other guy driving his around, and it was a younger guy driving it around. And he's the one who I mentioned earlier in the video who helped restore and work on that GT350 replica. So there's that Hemi Cuda convertible. A lot of people walk by and they would say, oh, cool, it's purple, and then walk off. They had no idea what they were looking at. And to the right people, the right cars stand out. And it's the same with my cars. A lot of people don't know what Mach 1s or Terminator Cobras are, or Bullet Mustang around here. So they'll walk past my cars without giving it a second thought. But, everybody's car is special to themselves, and it's neat to see that. So they gave us a nice barbecue, and it was a fun time. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for some more muscle car stories and, of course, more Mustang content.